There are parts of you no one knows about. The pain you learned to hide. The memories you never bring up. The wounds you buried under smiles. Faith quotes, "And I'm fine." You don't talk about them because explaining would take too much energy. Because opening them again might break you. Because you were taught to be strong, not honest. But God sees it all. God fixes what you don't talk about. Because silence doesn't fool him. Your strength doesn't confuse him. Your worship doesn't distract him from your wounds. He sees the heaviness you carry quietly. The nights you pray without words. The tears you swallow because you don't want to be a burden. Some pain never made it into conversation. It stayed trapped in your chest, in your body, in your reactions, in the way you flinch, withdraw, or overthink. And people assume you're healed because you're still standing. But God knows, standing is not the same as being whole. There are things you never talked about because no one stayed long enough to listen. Things you never processed because life demanded survival, not healing. So you moved on without closure. You forgave without being understood. You adapted without being restored. And God watched all of it. God fixes what you don't talk about by working in places therapy never reached, in memories you avoided, in emotions you numbed. Sometimes healing doesn't come through conversation. It comes through presence. God sits with you in the silence, in the confusion, in the places you don't have language for. That's why some healing feels slow, because God is untangling things you never unpacked. He's separating who you are from what hurt you. He's removing lies you learned in pain. He's healing damage you normalized. You didn't talk about the abandonment. God heals the trust issues. You didn't talk about the betrayal. God heals the hyper-independence. You didn't talk about the rejection. God heals the fear of being too much. You didn't talk about the loss. God heals the grief that shows up in other ways. Some wounds don't scream. They whisper. They show up in patterns, in choices, in exhaustion. And God notices every one. That's why healing sometimes feels uncomfortable. Because God is touching places you learned to protect, not heal. He's reopening wounds, not to hurt you, but to clean them. And yes, it hurts to feel what you buried. But buried pain doesn't disappear. It just grows roots. God doesn't want you surviving with damage. He wants you living in freedom. So he works quietly, gently, faithfully. One day you realize you're not reacting the same way. You're not triggered as easily. You're not carrying the same weight. You didn't talk about it, but God fixed it. That's how you know it was him, because no human conversation gets credit. No explanation makes sense. Only grace. If you're in a season where you feel lighter but can't explain why, that's God. If you're healing without knowing when it started, that's God. If you're becoming softer, stronger, and more peaceful after years of quiet pain, that's God. God fixes what you don't talk about because he listens to what your soul says, not just what your mouth speaks. So if you've been wondering why this season feels different, why old wounds don't hurt the same, why you're finally breathing again, give God the credit. And if this message found a place you've never spoken out loud, subscribe to this channel for more deep, honest, spiritual messages that heal what words never touched.